Hello and welcome back. Today we are trying to find out how division is done when we are dealing with algebraic equations. Okay, so let's get on with the definition first of all. And I actually did forget the R over there. Okay, so as we had done previously, the addition, subtraction, and the multiplication one, division is not going to be any different in the sense that whichever number we are going to be choosing, we are going to be dividing in this case on both sides, and if we do that, then the equality actually holds, and there is nothing that we don't ruin the balance of the equation. Okay, so let's just go through what the definition actually says, which goes something like division by same number on both sides does not affect the equation or the equality holds. And actually you can see a little star over there, which we are going to go into. Now first of all, let's have our sample equation over here, which is 3x is equal to 6. You can see the little cross over there in the middle, which is just multiplication. 3 times x is equal to 6, which is just equal to 3x is equal to 6. Okay, and as we are dealing with division, we are going to be using either one of these two symbols. Okay, now you can whatever number that you're going to be choosing for dividing both sides, it has to be same, right? Let's say you choose 3. You want to divide the whole equation by 3. So you're going to be dividing the left hand side with 3 and the right hand side with 3. It's not going to be the left hand side is not going to be divided by 3 and then the right hand side is going to be divided by 2. You can do that. Whichever number you choose, it's going to be one number. Okay, yeah, so you don't choose a single number and then you don't choose two numbers and then divide both sides with the different portions. It has to be the same number. And the star that is on at the end of this definition is right here. There's one number that you can't use. You can choose any number except for that one number, which we are going to delve into at the end. Okay, so the same thing that I previously said, you have to multiply. Multiplication is a type of division. So I keep on saying multiplication. So division, you have to divide whichever number you choose on both sides. For example, I chose 3 over here, so I divided both sides with 3. And if I chose 2, I would have done the same thing. I divide both sides by 2. And if you do that, then the equation actually holds and the balance of the equation remains. And so that the equation is actually true. What it is actually saying is true, and if you simplify the equation, it just becomes the same equation because we actually haven't changed anything about the equation. We are just modifying it. Okay, now actually let's go on to the star number, and that is you don't just don't use 0 over here for dividing any of these equations. Other than that, use any number. The reason for this is, just don't do this. Okay, and the reason for this is because this entire thing just becomes undefined, which basically means that if you're doing for normal division, 6 divided by 2 is equal to 3, right? And the issue here is that 6 divided by 0 is undefined. We don't know what it is. Okay, 6 divided by 2 is 3. 6 divided by 1 is 1. But 6 divided by 0, we don't know. Nobody actually knows what the answer to this is. And it is actually it is a complex problem if you actually look into it, because as the number decreases, when we go from 2, 6 divided by 2, and 6 divided by 1, and then all the way up to, in small divisions up to 0, the answer actually enlarges. And I might actually do a whole video on this this whole topic, but not right now. This is a video about division. So let's actually use our scale approach that we previously used, and we're going to be using a scale which checks out the balance, and if the balance is equal between the right hand side and the left hand side, okay, then the scale does not tilt in any direction. It just has like a 90-degree balance. It is balanced, right? So let's actually put some items inside of our scale, and right now we have like 2 mystery boxes on the left hand side and the and 4 oranges on the right hand side. Okay, now the thing is that we are actually calling the mystery boxes as x, and the oranges are what we are just the normal numbers, right? 4 oranges is just equal to 4. That is how we were describing it previously, right? So let's actually say that we take out 1 mystery box and 2 oranges. Okay, so what is that? So what are we left with? We are left with 1 mystery box and we are left with 2 oranges. Then the equation becomes x is equal to 2, right? It just becomes x is equal to 2. So what we have actually done over here is that we have divided the entire scale, okay, because we can't just divide one side because it does not, it ruins the balance of the equation. We divided the whole side by 2. And as you can see, the thing is still stable and equal. It isn't moving in any direction. It would if I actually made it that way, but in fact it won't. It won't do that because we took out equal things out of the individual containers at the same time. Now let's actually go through an example in which we actually use division to find out the values of x. Now we are trying to find out what the value of x is, and that actually means that we have to isolate the x in a way as shown below, right? X is equal to a question mark. Now the way to do that is, as you can see, there is a 3 over there right besides the x that we need to get rid of. And how do you get rid of that 3? By dividing it with another 3. That is the only way you can get rid of the 3. So let's actually put that right over there. And now you can see that Mr. Cactus actually, okay, he didn't help us out with that. Now 3 divided by 3 is going to be equal to 1, right? It just becomes 1. You can cancel out the 3's and you are just left with 1. And 1 divided by 1 is just equal to 1, which just gives us x at the end. And on the right hand side, we have 9 divided by 3, which just gives us 3 at the end, right? So we are left with the actual answer, which is x is equal to 3. And this is the solution, right? We have x isolated, and then we have 3, which is a number, whatever it is, on the right hand side, and it's simplified. So it is better to have a simplified answer on the right hand side and a isolated variable, in this case x, on the left hand side. Now what this actually means on the scale basis is that we have a mystery box on the left hand side which is equal to 3 oranges on the right hand side. Okay, so let's actually look at another example that we are going to be solving right now, which says that 5x is equal to 15, right? So we want to find x, and the way to find x is by isolating the x. The way to isolate the x in this case is by removing the 5, which can be done if you divide it if you divide the whole equation by 5. Now the reason again I want to make this clear is that we are dividing the whole equation by 5, even though we just want to get rid of 1 5 on the left hand side. The reason for this is because we do not want to ruin the balance of the equation. Now we cancel out all of the stuff on the left hand side. 5 divided by 5 just gives us 1, and 15 divided by 5 just gives us 3 at the end. So we are left with the answer x is equal to 3. Now that is all there is to dividing any number by any number except for 0. And thank you for watching, and I really hope you learned something.